Good evening and welcome to the One to World 2016 Fulbright Awards Dinner. I am David Hellenack, and I was proud to be an honoree at this event in 2010. And this year it's my pleasure to serve also as a co-chair. On behalf of One New World, I want to begin by thanking each and every one of you for joining us this evening and for helping to support an organization whose work is so important to our city and to the world. You are in for a wonderful evening. I want to commend especially this year's honorees. Terry Martell, Clarke, Didric, Cederholm, and Wenke, Thoman, Terrence. This makes me feel at home. It's like being at the big house in Michigan. We've got a lot of enthusiasm, and that is wonderful to hear. I want to especially thank our honorees for having accomplished something extraordinary. Through their generosity and outreach, they have helped raise the most that has ever been raised at a One to World event, over $700,000. So thanks to them and each of you. Later in the evening, you will hear more about the remarkable Wenke Stearns and all she has contributed to One to World. But let me tell you that I am particularly honored to be standing here tonight because I'm taking the place that Wenke has served the previous 7 years with incredible grace and style in welcoming everybody to the evening's event. It's not possible to match her contribution. I also want to recognize my fellow co-chairs this evening, whose efforts contributed substantially to the evening's success. Please hold your applause until I've read each of their names, but I'd appreciate it if each of you would stand as I name you. First, Miriam Arzarm, Frank Brown, Mark Gans, Joseph Selim, and Thomas Schulke. Thank you. And most importantly, I want to express our deepest appreciation to our honorary co-chair, Harriet Mayor Fulbright. It is an honor for each of us, and especially for me, to be in your presence tonight. In 1945, following the end of World War II, Senator J. William Fulbright had the idea that if we could get to know one another and learn to exchange ideas, then perhaps we might not be so willing to exchange bullets. Out of this realization grew the program that he came to consider his greatest accomplishment. He introduced legislation to allow governments of foreign countries to pay off their war debts to the U.S. by co-sponsoring a program of international education exchange, now known as the Fulbright program. Stop for a moment and think about that in contrast to the politics that we see today. The program he drafted as legislation 70 years ago is now the single largest program of its kind in the world. More than 300,000 participants from more than 155 countries around the world and from every academic discipline now proudly call themselves Fulbrighters. In New York City, Wonder-World is designated by the U.S. Department of State to help foreign students in New York's universities meet Americans while they're here. Now I want to take a moment to share with you a very special reading from the United States Senator from New York, Kirsten Gillibrand.
Hi, I'm Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, and I want to congratulate One2World for all the work you've done to support the Fulbright tradition of international education and global understanding. Your efforts have helped create strong ties between thousands of students in America and abroad. I especially want to send my best wishes to tonight's 4 honorees: Didric Cederholm of Lion Point Capital, Dr. Terrence Martell of Baruch College, Clarke Murphy of Russell Reynolds, and my very good friend and chair of your board, Wenke Thoman Stearns. We all know how eye-opening and rewarding it can be to spend time studying overseas. When I was in college, I lived in Beijing and Taichung, and my time there taught me so much about the value of working together and finding common ground with people whose life experiences were very different from mine. I'm grateful to One2World for devoting so much effort into giving students the opportunity to experience life in another culture. I want to wish you all a wonderful event and continued success in the year ahead. Thank you.
Before introducing our next speaker, I want to comment briefly on something that I am sure is on the minds of everyone here tonight. We have entered an era, hopefully brief, where globalization is under threat, both in this country and abroad. That makes the work of One2World of particular importance at this moment. And here in the United States, there has never been a more important time to make absolutely clear to our visiting scholars from abroad that they are welcome here. This country was built by immigrants. We are all immigrants, and we will overcome any effort to change our commitment to immigrants, fighting to preserve the foundation of this country. We will also continue our efforts to welcome, among those who come to our shores, people of all faiths, races, and orientations. We are a nation committed to freedom. That is why we and our forebears all came here. Now I must do something I absolutely hate to do. I have to turn over the microphone to someone else. But in this case, it's to a superstar, Deborah Clifford. Deborah became the executive director of One2World not long before I was honored in 2010. So I have witnessed most of her reign. She has been extraordinary in every aspect of leadership, driven by a clear love of her scholars, her staff, and every element of One2World's mission, and by an undying commitment to global interaction. And has she ever figured out how to raise funds to assure the future of this wonderful organization? Just ask any one of us who has been honored. We have all had to take second jobs to keep ourselves out of debtor's prison. So it was with great sadness that we learned early this year that Deborah had decided to look for new challenges. While this surprised everyone, Deborah did it as she does everything, with ample notice and great courtesy, so that Wonder World could find a successor before she left. And the future continues to be bright. Wonder World has found a talented and experienced new executive director, Jen Clarke, who is with us here tonight. And Deborah Clifford will again be a superstar at whatever she chooses to do next. There will be much demand for her services. She is absolutely extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Deborah Clifford.
David, you are honored at this event in my first year as Executive Director of Wonder World. You raised more support than any previous honoree, allowing me to stand here that year and announce our most successful dinner ever. And this was during the height of the economic crisis. From that time until this moment, you have always been there for Wonder World. As I have told you before, you are a rock star and a gentleman, and I am eternally grateful. I must take this moment to say thank you to my entire board of directors for everything you have done for Wonder World during my time as executive director. I know that with your leadership, the future of the organization is beyond bright, and I want to lead a round of applause in your honor. Will you all please stand? Would all of the current Fulbright grantees and international students who are studying in the New York City area please stand and remain standing. Now, will all the Fulbright alumni who are in the room please stand and remain standing. Who has studied abroad, lived in another country, or worked abroad, please stand and remain standing. Now you know why tonight is so special. This is a powerful room of internationalists with 38 countries represented here tonight. We are so proud to be honoring 4 amazing people tonight. Didric Cederholm, Martell, Clarke, and Wenke Thoman. I cannot thank you enough for making my final dinner our best ever by far. Truly, you are a most remarkable quartet. With your help, we have raised a total of $768,000, which is well over our previous record. Thank you so much for filling this room with your friends and colleagues and for laying the groundwork for growth in the years ahead. I now want to take a special moment to recognize our honorary co-chair for the past 20 years and a dear, dear friend of the organization, Harriet Mayor Fulbright. She was with us when we honored her husband, Senator J. William Fulbright, in 1993, and she was honored herself in the year 2000. We are so proud to have her with us tonight as the Fulbright program celebrates its 70th year anniversary. Harriet, you mean so much to us all. Will you please stand and be recognized? Member colleges and universities in the tri-state area. I want to give special recognition to the college and university presidents here tonight who are listed on the screen. The support and involvement of our member institutions makes a big difference to us, and we cannot thank you enough. For those of you here tonight who are new tonight to us, I want to take a moment to share with you the important work that One to World does every day of the year.
This year alone, 85,000 students and scholars from countries all over the world have come to study at New York area institutions. Without One to World, few ever have the chance to go inside an American home, have dinner with an American family, visit a public school classroom, or speak with business leaders in their offices. This is a priceless opportunity to build understanding and diplomacy, and One to World makes it happen. One to World began in 1977 as a way to engage international students in American life. What we have become is so much more, an organization that builds lifelong mutual understanding and respect among the cultures of the world. Each of our programs brings people from around the world face to face to exchange perspectives. Global Classroom brings international students and scholars from more than 100 countries into New York City K-12 classrooms to share their countries and cultures. International students attend foreign affairs conferences at the U.S. Military Academy and the U.S. Naval Academy, bringing first-hand global perspectives to debates on American foreign policy. American families invite students into their homes for community visits in rural, suburban, and urban settings, from Lancaster, Pennsylvania to Bushwick, Brooklyn. Through One to World, scholars meet leaders in New York City business, education, and philanthropy to exchange ideas across cultures. Community service projects with local nonprofit partners allow students and scholars to give back to New York City and engage in the American service tradition. One to World is designated by the U.S. Department of State as the official coordinator of Fulbright enrichment programs in the greater New York area. In the words of the late Senator Fulbright, I believe that there is a direct connection between the quality of relationships which international students develop while they are in the United States and the quality of the economic and political alliances they will make in the years to come. Today, One to World is stronger than ever. With your help, we'll continue to create a constant stream of face-to-face interactions in American homes, schools, businesses, and institutions throughout the year. One to World. Local connections, global impact.
Moment of attention to our centerpieces. These are photos travel guides for the best of Europe, Cuba, Montreal and Quebec City, China, and Moscow, St. Petersburg. Once again, for the 8th year in a row, they have been generously donated by voters for you to take home with you at the end of the evening. And for a special surprise, At each of your tables, one of you also has a spoon with a ribbon tied around it. So take a look now and see if the ribbon is on your spoon. If it is, you are the winner of the Foder's Living Language Platinum Package in the center of your table. Congratulations. Tonight is especially meaningful for me for one more reason that I want to share with you. This dinner is being supported by 15 former honorees of this event who have remained involved and committed over so many years. And not only that, but 4 of our 5 former directors are here tonight, representing One to World leadership since 1978. This organization inspires loyalty and dedication of a quality that takes my breath away. I'm so proud to be a part of it, and that will never change. Our first award of the evening goes to a woman whose leadership and inspiration I have counted on every single day since I became the executive director of One to World 7 years ago. Wenke Thoman Stearns, my board chair. They say that the health of a nonprofit organization depends on the relationship between the executive director and the board chair, and I could not have asked for a stronger partner. She is totally dedicated to the mission. She's a constant advocate. She always makes herself available when needed. She's one of the smartest people I know, and everyone loves and respects her. Truly, Wenke, working with you has been one of the great highlights of my career. To present Wenke with her award tonight is a Fulbright Grantee from New Zealand to Yale University, Elizabeth Chan.
Thank you, Didric, and good evening, everyone. One to World means so much to me, and it is a true honor to be one of the Fulbright grantees chosen to speak tonight. I was born in Hong Kong. When I was 6 years old, my family moved to New Zealand. I completed high school and university there. I speak English, French, Cantonese, and Mandarin, and I hold citizenships in New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and Hong Kong. I've heard that many in my generation consider ourselves to be global citizens, and that is certainly true for me. I have many homes, and the Fulbright vision of peace through international understanding is alive in my heart every day. I focus my education and career on international work. I aim to do meaningful work in different countries and relating to diverse cultures. Volunteering legal services to those in need is also very important to me. My Fulbright grant enabled me to earn my Master of Laws degree at Yale Law School last May. I was an editor of the Yale Journal of International Law. I also volunteered with international human rights, domestic violence, healthcare, consumer protection, and other organizations. This year, I'm working as a visiting attorney in international arbitration at Herbert Smith Freehills in New York City. My move from Yale to the city last fall was really stressful. I knew almost no one. Things soon changed though when I did a one-to-world program called Discover New York. Our host guided us, a small group of us, along the High Line and took us to her favorite Vietnamese noodle place. She's here tonight. I know it doesn't always happen this way, but she and I have become incredible friends. One to World has been amazing for me. I've done tons of their programs. programs, I've gained a nuanced view of life in the United States that I couldn't otherwise have formed. Volunteering to distribute food and clothing to the hungry and homeless helps me to understand and respect the lives of those who struggle the most here. On a one-to-world tour of Astoria, I learned about the patterns of ethnic migration, and it made me reflect on my own experiences as an immigrant to New Zealand. Senator Fulbright wanted us to experience the full range of each other's cultures, and One World is making this possible. We are invited to walk through doorways that we wouldn't otherwise have the keys to open. And this is why I am so honored to present the first award tonight to the chair of the One World Board of Directors for the past 8 years. I want to personally thank you because I will be forever grateful. And her name is Wenke Thoman. Wenke is an amazing role model with an amazing story. She has even more home country than I do. Born in Norway, she was raised about 1,500 miles north of where we are tonight, in a mining town called Cederholm, Ontario. Population 1,500. Average January low temperature of -30 degrees. She started her schooling in a one-room schoolhouse and grew up speaking Norwegian, German, and English. She is a dual Canadian American citizen and educated at the Universities of McGill, Tufts, and Geneva. She earned her MBA at INSEAD in France. And she motorcycle backpacked all the way around the Mediterranean, North Africa, Italy, and Spain. Now that's a fearless global citizen. From high school onwards, she held jobs in the business world to finance her education. In fact, her first job in finance was with Bernie Kornfeld of Weissman. Due to her hard work, brilliance, and talent, she built a global career in finance at a time when very few women thrived in the field, and she became the first female member of the Boston Stock Exchange. She has held positions all over the years with CUNY, Liquor & Co., Donaldson, Luckin & Jenrette, American Pan America, Payne Webber, and Ian Hutton. In 1994, she joined her dear friend and INSEAD colleague, Philippe de at the Industrial Insulation Group, the largest manufacturer of calcium silicate and mineral wool industrial insulation products in the United States. They sold this group to a Berkshire Hathaway subsidiary in 2012. And all this as she raised her two daughters, Camille and Alexis, in New York City. Wenke has always been incredibly generous with her time and resources. She has been a trustee of the McDanet Foundation for 25 years, fostering cross-cultural educational exchanges. And she is a trustee of the Judith Connolly Deluvrier Scholarship Fund, supporting study abroad. Many people are here tonight because of the many New York City causes that she and her husband Bill support whenever they're asked to donate. I hope you will join with me in expressing our appreciation for all she has done for One World and for promoting international understanding and peace. It gives me great pleasure to present the One World Fulbright Award for Citizen Diplomacy and Outstanding Service to Wenke, Thoman,
Good evening, everyone. We've already heard such wonderful speeches from Deborah and Elizabeth, and they've all talked, and David talked about the immigrant experience, and I feel my speech is not quite, I'm going to mainly thank a lot of people and not steer away from those experiences that we'll hear about more about throughout the evening. Anyway, good evening. I'm Wenke Stearns, and I'm deeply thrilled and touched to be honored here this evening. I want to thank my wonderful husband, my loving daughters and sons, and so many dear friends who have come from far and near to be here tonight. So many parts of my life are represented here tonight. Friends from my earliest days after arriving in New York in 1969. Friends from INSEAD. Friends from Wall Street, from Industrial Insulation, and from Spence. And friends who have supported my causes so faithfully for so many, many years. I'm deeply touched. I also want to thank the One to World family, the universities and colleges who are our members, the many fine, loyal, and generous board members, and the honorees who over the years have helped greatly to increase the visibility of this organization in New York City. And then there's the staff, who are constantly striving to improve and the services we offer to our members and our students. I'm also grateful to Senator Fulbright, who will be mentioned, I'm sure, several other times this evening, but I couldn't resist also to mention him. I'm so grateful to Senator Fulbright for his vision and for institutionalizing foreign exchange programs in so many countries for so many years, almost 3/4 of a century. And we're so fortunate to have Harriet with us tonight. Thank you, Harriet, who has always been a stalwart. She's always continued his work in the most stalwart manner. Thank you. One to World and its mission of promoting global citizenship and one-to-one interactions is near and dear to my heart. Studying abroad has enriched my life immeasurably, as it has for many in this room. Being a foreign student in the United States or anywhere is rewarding, but it can also be scary and lonely. Personal connections with students can have a profoundly positive effect on the student and the local resident. As a city, state, and country, having international students studying in our universities is an immense gift and an investment in our global future. These students who come here are the best and the brightest the world has to offer, and they are the world's future leaders. The One to World staff and New York City dinner diplomats, job shadowing partners, and others get to interact with these students every day. Not only are these interactions important to these young adults, they are important to New Yorkers. Now more than ever, we need to build bridges that bring people together. I hope each one of you will become part of the One to World in the year ahead. There are cards on your tables so you can tell us how you'd like to be involved. Just a few hours of your time can have a lifetime of impact. On a final note, I've had the great pleasure to work with Deborah Clifford for the last 8+ years. She is leaving, but she leaves the organization in the strongest shape it has ever been in. This augurs very well for our 40th birthday, which we are celebrating next year. We wish her luck, and we wish her all the best in her new endeavor. But I'm reminding her that One to World is a very sticky organization, as evidenced by the fact that 4 out of 5 executive directors are here tonight. Deborah, I wish you all the best. Thank you again for this very precious award. Now it's time for you to continue your dinner. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jusik Kim, and I'm not a Fulbright grantee. I'm one of the thousands of non-Fulbright international students that One to World also serves every year. All of us have the same needs: to become more connected with Americans and American culture. I'm Korean by birth and ethnicity, but I grew up in Canada, in a Jewish neighborhood. And I finished high school in the US. Nothing is simple anymore, is it? It is very difficult to form the correct prejudice when you can't really tell where a person is from. Maybe in the future, we can just stop trying. That will make things easier for all of us. I received my associate degree with honors in business administration from Laurel Van Community College, CUNY. I went there because it was affordable for me and also excellent, which is the same reason I chose Baruch College, where I'm now a student in the Zipman School of Business. Giving back to the community means a lot to me. I volunteer with Habitat for Humanity in Oklahoma and in Far Rockaway after Superstorm Sandy. I was also selected for the highly competitive CUNY Service Corps. My major is in finance, and I hope someday to lead a hedge fund. But my greater purpose is to give back and contribute in a major way, financially, to create a more fair and equal society. I look up to Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Mark Zuckerberg as my role models. One to World's global classroom is giving me a way to give back right now. Many students in your city are not as privileged as I have been, and they have not had meaningful conversations with people from diverse countries. At PS 636 in Brooklyn, I did a workshop about wind energy in South Korea and the serious sustainability issues the country faces. These young students are the future of America, and I want them to know about the world's challenges so that they can change things for the better. Global Classroom is a great One to World program, and I am proud to be part of it. There are 2 reasons I'm very honored to present the next award to Dr. Terrence Martell. One is that I believe he has a commitment similar to mine, to be humble and to give back to the community. The second reason is that, as a director of the Weissman Center for International Business at Baruch, and as a trustee of the City University of New York, he's one of the people responsible for the excellent education I'm getting at Baruch. He has made it a top priority to offer the highest quality global business education to students like me who don't have significant financial resources at this time. By being honored tonight, he's also bringing support for One to World, which I have benefited from greatly. So Dr. Martell, I thank you. Dr. Martell is a leading authority on international commodity markets and was previously Senior Vice President of the Commodity Exchange Incorporation in New York City. He currently serves as the Chairman of the Board of ICE Clear US. When he chose commodities exchanges as a research topic during his senior year at Iona College, he never dreamed this will become his lifelong career. At that time, no one was paying any attention to these markets. He also did his dissertation at Pennsylvania State University on the commodities markets, which made him the leading academic expert on this subject in the country, and probably in the world. He was approached by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange in 1980 to develop a Standard & Poor's 500 Index futures contract, which was a big success. Index trading grew exponentially, and the rest is history. When he consulted for the Sydney Future Exchange in Australia, he learned how markets in Singapore and China worked and made connections there. These connections have come full circle to benefit Baruch students through exchange programs Dr. Martell established with Chinese universities and companies. As head of the Weissman Center at Baruch, Dr. Martell directs study and work abroad, and he raises support for scholarships to give students access to these experiences so they can compete in the global job market. He's truly dedicated to the futures of his students and to preparing them for the real world. I have so much respect for him, and he's a wonderful grandfather. So it is my great honor to present the 2016 One to World Fulbright Award for Global Education to a very deserving individual, Dr. Terrence F. Martell.
Shouldn't we just give it to Ben now? I mean, why wait till he's 70, right? I mean, let's just do it. Ben, thank you very much for that kind introduction. I am honored and humbled to accept the One to World Fulbright Award for Global Education. I have some thoughts, a few thoughts to share with you regarding the importance of global education. But first, I want to thank all my friends who came out tonight to support One to World and the valuable work this organization does to enhance international understanding. I would like to start with my fellow City University trustees and Executive Vice Chancellor Alan Dobrin, Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost Peter Rabinowitz. City University has long been a supporter of One to World, and at last year's event, Chancellor J.B. Milken was honored himself. The Intercontinental Exchange, over there, also generously supported this event. My ICE colleagues flew in from all over to attend. Thank you very much. Baruch College and President Mitchell Wallerstein are also always well represented. Thank you. The Starr Foundation, through the support of Howard Smith and Ernst & Young, with the extra help of Ken Marshall, also contributed, you can clap, also contributed to the financial success of this evening. I also want to thank my neighbors and good friends from my hometown of Pelham. members of the Weissman Center Advisory Council, and former students for sharing this celebration with me. Finally, I would like to thank and acknowledge my wife Rita, my children Catherine and Alex, I really shouldn't have to write that down, should I? And the rest of my family for allowing me the flexibility to do what I love. Thank you all very much. You know that Deborah Clifford demanded a specific amount. And I don't know about the rest of the honorees. I had to post collateral. So when I say thank you for bailing me out, I mean thank you for bailing me out. The Weissman Center is responsible for all study abroad programs at Baruch. Under the leadership of Dr. Richard Mitten, Director of Study Abroad, I have witnessed firsthand the life-changing opportunities a study abroad experience provides to Baruch students. But I also recognize the equally transformative effect incoming exchange students can experience, and also in unexpected ways. For example, about 15 years ago, a young man from the Southwestern University of Finance and Economics in Chengdu, China, Dan Yang, visited the Weissman Center for a semester. In those days, China was much less generous to students doing a semester abroad. But our center was supportive and saw to it that Dan was able to achieve his goals. Dan went back to Chengdu, and fast forward, is now a senior vice president at Southwestern University of Finance and Economics, with international relations as part of his portfolio. Today, SUFI, as we call it, is by far Baruch's biggest university partner, with programs at the undergraduate, master's, and PhD level. I am particularly proud of a joint Baruch-SUFI program that will impact 100 students at the two schools. This is a high-profile agreement with formal endorsement by the Chinese Ministry of Education. Many students benefit from these programs, all of which grew out of a simple one-semester exchange 15 years ago. Everything doesn't always turn out this well, but without willingness to share, time to develop trust, and a commitment to cross-cultural understanding, no progress is possible. As liberal democracies around the world become more fractured and inward-looking, I implore all in this room to remember the linkage between student exchange and global understanding. It is a mistake to think what is will continue to be. As we financially support One to World, an organization dedicated to enhancing the experiences of international students, we must also increase our collective efforts to support student exchange and remind people of the benefits such exchanges produce for everyone. Thank you all very, very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nida Zafar. I am a Fulbright grantee from Pakistan, working on my Masters of Arts in Psychology and Education at Teachers College, Columbia University. I was born in Lahore, the second largest city in Pakistan. This is the first time I've lived away from my family home in Lahore. The biggest difference I experienced between Pakistan and the US is that here people are encouraged to believe in themselves and to trust themselves. This is a quite radical concept back home. There, the only important question about any decision is, what will others think? As I have advanced in my studies of psychology, I have come to know that fear of negative judgment of others destroys self-esteem and keeps people from developing fully as human beings. This belief was strengthened when I did a workshop about life in Pakistan for One to World's Global Classroom. I saw my country reflected in the reactions of the students, who said, if we were not given choices about the decisions about our lives, we would be depressed. To me, the ability to build a positive society rose from building the self-esteem of its citizens. When I return home, this will be my work. I want to start in childhood, where true mental health begins. I will face resistance, but change must begin somewhere. I am enjoying my time here so much, and One to World is a huge part of that. I was invited to spend time with a family in New Jersey, and I was amazed that these total strangers opened their homes to me for 2 days of discussion and food. The Fulbright vision is that we become friends, not as representatives of our countries, but as people. For me, this is happening every day. India and Pakistan have a history of Cold War, yet here, one of my best friends is Indian, and one of my very good friends is Jewish. People back home say, how can you be friends with them? It's very easy, because we talk and laugh together as people, face to face, just sharing what is important to us. I am proud to be presenting the next award to Didric Cederholm. Mr. Cederholm was born and raised in Sweden and earned a law degree from Stockholm University. He then came to Columbia University as a Fulbright scholar some 15 years before. He has said that receiving his Fulbright grant and being accepted to Columbia was one of the most important moments of his life, other than meeting his wife. In the Fulbright tradition, making friends became as important as his studies, and many of his friends he made then are here tonight. Columbia Business School is fortunate because he has continued to be involved as a guest lecturer there. It is my pleasure to meet Mr. Cederholm through a One to World program. He hosted us at his hedge fund co-founded in 2014, Lion Point Capital. And for 2 hours, he made himself available to a group of Fulbrighters for questions about his work and his life. The most important messages we received were about his core values of integrity, hard work, open-mindedness, and intellectual humility. The other message that came through clearly was his love for his wife and children, and how important family is to him. Who else do you think whose entire family became Harry Potter characters for Halloween? He returns to Sweden every year with his family to keep the connection with his home country strong. Before he came to the US, he served 2 years in the Swedish Armed Forces. He became an interrogation officer and later a second lieutenant in Swedish military intelligence, where he studied Russian language and culture and along with military strategy. The values of dedication, integrity, and patience have permeated Mr. Cederholm's career in finance. Prior to funding Lion Point, he spent nearly 8 years at Elliott Management and also held positions at AIG and Eros Partners. He has been involved in large restructurings, including Lehman Brothers, General Motors, GMAC, Kaiser Aluminium, and Parmalat, just to name a few. He is one of the brightest stars in the hedge fund world. In my view as a psychologist, the value of having leaders in this arena who understand the importance of open-mindedness across cultures cannot be overstated. It is my honor to present the 2016 One to World Fulbright Award for Outstanding Achievement to Didric Cederholm.
Thank you, Nida. 3 things I feel standing here tonight I think are core to a lot of the values of Fulbright and One to World. Gratitude, goodwill, and the pleasure of giving back. Thanks, One to World Committee, for this great honor. I'd also like to thank the Fulbright Commission. IIE, IVA, the Swedish American Foundation, and the Wallenberg Foundation, without all of which Christine, my wife, and I would not have been able to come here in 2001, let alone stand here tonight. And of course, our friends and colleagues, former and current, who contributed so generously to One to World at this event. Thank you. Special thanks go out to the Paulie Singer Foundation, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the Wellner family, Dan and Lauren Kruger, John and Andra Ehrenkrantz, again, friends, family, colleagues, and all of you here tonight, thank you. You can clap. I promised hilarity tonight to some people. Unfortunately, my thunder was just unjustifiably taken away as I realized that they took out all the nudity pictures. Maybe Deborah, maybe you would want my gratitude for that, as well as some other deeply embarrassing pictures. But let's go back in time. The Fulbright program is really about fostering international goodwill. Founded in 1946 by Senator James William Fulbright, it was set up with the proceeds from forgiving indebtedness that had been amassed during World War II to fund educational exchange programs. To this date, about 360,000 students have participated in this program, leaving the U.S. to go to other countries, coming from other countries to the U.S. The world was a different place then, and the atrocities of World War II and the Holocaust were still fresh in people's memories. Senator Fulbright had an idea, he had a vision, of spreading 3 key traits that he thought that, if in greater supply, would promote world peace and improve the standing of America in the world at large. In Senator Fulbright's words, I think this is just the greatest quote. The program aims to bring a little bit more knowledge, a little more reason, and a little more compassion to world affairs, and thereby increase the chance that nations will learn at last to live in peace and friendship. And while we may have more knowledge today, though, I think we all sometimes look around us and wonder if the whole world hasn't lost its marbles. We certainly have more information. But information without reason, without compassion, doesn't do much good. I think it's the latter two that are really the pillars for judgment and integrity. The judgment to use knowledge and skills for good. C.S. Lewis, the author of the Narnia books, said about integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. And integrity has also been a red line through my experience with One to World, from the day I set foot at Columbia University in 2001, through the experience being honored here tonight, and the events that took place leading up to this, from my fellow honorees, Terry's lecture on ethics, Clarke and Wenke's conversations on international restructurings, corporate development, and recruiting, to the anecdotes shared by a former honoree and speaker tonight, David Helenak, about the late Swede Raoul Wallenberg, about his time as an exchange student here in the U.S. as a Michigander, and the work, the humanitarian work he later took on during World War II. Values are tough to read from books, to learn from books. One to World is dedicated to global understanding. They create substantive programs that enrich students' experience and broaden their understanding of U.S. culture, of U.S. traditions. just as an example, when Anita showed pictures of her experience, and she shared with me tonight at dinner, she was one of 167 students that in the 2014-2015 student year participated in these experiences with American families. 91 families through the One to World program added to that experience, sharing, taking people into their homes, opening their hearts. And in the speeches made by the Fulbright students who participated in these programs, and there are about 20 of them here tonight, it becomes abundantly clear just how successful One to World really is in the transcendence of American culture and values. And what is so great is the appreciation with which it is all received by the students. I've listened to several of their amazing and heartful stories, and you've heard some of them tonight, of being welcomed into American homes and businesses, and the substantial and positive marks these experiences leave with them. And I'm part of that family too, as a Fulbright grantee, and part of the One to World family. And together, I share with these students a sense of gratitude, and it's extraordinarily strong tonight. And together, we share this, we harbor hope, and we strive to improve. But maybe more than anything else, what this also leaves us with is a hope to give back. Thank you, One to World, for all you do, and thanks to all of you here tonight for helping me and One to World to give back.
Good evening. My name is Abdullah Azizi. I'm a Fulbright grantee from Afghanistan, working on my master's in global affairs at Clarke. When I was 5 years old, my family fled to Pakistan to escape the Taliban during the war. We were so fortunate to survive. I lived in Pakistan through high school, with my family in poverty and deprived of our rights because we were immigrants. At age 17, I went back to Afghanistan alone, and after trying for months, I got a job in IT sector. I had no plans to go to college because it cost too much. But I was sent to a conference in India on women's empowerment. And the women activists I met there profoundly changed my way of thinking. I realized that I wanted to address my country's problem in a systematic way. And to do that, I needed more education and skill. I got admission to the American University of Afghanistan. I worked night and day to develop my ability to play a role in the democratic process on which the future of Afghan society is entirely dependent. Working with the United Nations Development Program, I was able to make substantive contribution to the 2010 Afghan parliamentary elections. Following my Fulbright time here, I'm determined and committed to work with my government to the best of my ability to serve our beloved country. In Afghanistan, there is enormous respect for American education. The Fulbright program is very famous. It's everyone's dream. Our President Mohammed Ashraf Ghani was a Fulbright scholar. He met with your President Obama last year, and as a result, the United States announced its intention to increase Fulbright fellowship for Afghan students by 50% for the next 5 years, making this one of the largest Fulbright programs in the world. As a Fulbrighter, I have learned a lot from my studies, but creating a network of friends and colleagues here has been equally important. I have done at least 11 one-to-one programs, everything from spending time in an Amish community in Pennsylvania to a transformative meeting with David Hellenite in his office, to attending U.S. Naval Academy Foreign Affairs Conference in Annapolis, Afghanistan is very famous for its hospitality, but the Thanksgiving I spent with a family in Westchester proved to me that Americans can be equally as hospitable. Experiencing such a warm welcome meant so much to me. I met our final honoree, Clarke Murphy, at a one-to-one event earlier this spring. Having this opportunity to get to know some of the top corporate leaders in America is far beyond anything I would have imagined. It's crucially important that Mr. Murphy brings a lifetime of cross-cultural understanding to the job. He grew up in Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. When he was 17, he went to Paris on a high school exchange program, and it absolutely transformed what he thought his life would be. From that point on, everything he did had an international component. People talk about overseas experiences, but Mr. Murphy took this to a new level by sailing across the North Atlantic 3 times in 12 months, just after graduating college. Since 2005, he has completed 3 transatlantic races with a crew of Welsh, Scottish, English, Danish, South African, New Zealand, and American sailors. It is his firm conviction that multicultural teams are invaluable in the world of work as well. Since joining Reynolds in 1988, Mr. Murphy has helped the company expand to 46 offices in 26 countries spread across Europe, Asia, North and South America, and the Middle East. I want to show you a bit of what it means to be Reynolds. You may find yourself featured in publications in France, Poland, China, Turkey, Germany, Denmark, Spain, or anywhere around the globe. Mr. Murphy graduated from the University of Virginia, and with his wife and brother, he created the Murphy Fund for International Study to make it so that 2 UVA students can study abroad each year, when otherwise they could not afford it. To me, this is the mark of a true global leader, to give opportunities to the next generation to enable them to carry on the positive work you have begun. I consider him to be part of the Fulbright tradition, and he reminds all of us that we can have an impact globally, beyond our own lives. For all these reasons, it's my great pleasure and honor to present the 2016 One-to-One Fulbright Award for Global Business Leadership to Clarke Murphy.
I would have to ask my fellow honorees, isn't it quite clear that we need to change the role, that we're supposed to be honoring the 4 of them, when you see what they've done with their lives, and we're the lucky ones to be standing up here. Do we give the 4 introductions? It's very humbling to hear your life experiences and your achievements, and to hear a simple journey of a kid from Virginia to be standing up here. I hope you're as proud, and your family is, as my family is, of me up here, because they should be. Congratulations. I'd love to thank, just to begin with, the dinner chairs, particularly David Hellenack, putting this together. Having worked on a lot of projects with David over time, if you want to get something done, you ask David to be involved, and he always does. And thank you very much for another record occurrence. To many of the great sponsors who are here to support the One World organization, PwC, Colliers, MasterCard, Aramark, Goldman Sachs, Royalty Pharma, Rockefeller & Co. Your generous support supports incredible lives, as we just heard of tonight, and thank you all very much. I also chuckled as I was sitting there because of my family's sitting at the large Murphy plant. We traveled past the Murphys. And 2 ironies. One, my niece Caroline was named a Fulbright Scholar 2 weeks ago, so we're very excited to see her. join the committee. And I laugh because every February, all the Murphys gather around the television for the Academy Awards. And what do? You see the red carpet, you see people in black tie, you hear people get up and give these acceptance speeches. We got it by far, there's no question. The difference being, of course, that they honor those who entertain the world. Tonight we honor those who change the world. And that's what Fulbright's all about. Well done. I would also say that to my family for being here, my partners, so many old friends and colleagues, thank you for being here and supporting this. Most importantly is Whitney Murphy. Without anything I do, it wouldn't happen. Thank you, Whitney. I think I finished where David started. The world needs leadership. The world's looking for direction. The world's looking for people who understand the differences of conflict are because they do not know each other. The differences of disagreements because they do not speak to each other. And the Fulbright organization and what One to World does is astounding in creating future leaders. And being a little bit in the leadership business, I can tell you, we are awaiting your arrival in all of your home countries to help us make it a better world. I agree with, it's funny, Didric and I read the same quote, that the program produces generations of leaders with a little more compassion in world affairs and increase the chance that nations can learn to live in peace. And as future leaders, I would say one thing. Leadership can be hard when you stumble, when you maybe have a faulting of confidence or uncertainty, whether it's a hospital, a laboratory, a government, corporation. I hope you will pause, I do love you and others, and if you have any wavering at all, know that 500 people came to the Waldorf for you, and that we look to you as leaders, and you have our support at any moment in your life. And thank you for being the Fulbrighters that you are. Thank you all very much.
Before we do the drawing for a case of award-winning wine, I want to thank all of you once more for sharing this wonderful evening with us. And as Wenke said earlier, there are cards on your table so you can tell us how you'd like to be involved in the year ahead, hosting a student in your neighborhood, home, or business. The opportunity to create a more peaceful world is right on our doorstep every day. Please fill out your cards and we'll follow up to arrange a personalized program that will add so much to your lives and the lives of students and scholars from around the world. Also, as a reminder, please feel free to take the travel guides generously donated by voters. Now it's time for me to do my final One to World door prize drawing. This is for a case of eco-friendly, biodynamic French wine donated by former honoree Kevin Parker and Chateau Marie. I want to ask the next executive director of One to World to draw the winner's name with me. So please welcome Jen Clarke. Our only rule is that you must be present to win. So when you hear your name, please let us know that you're here and come to the front to give us your delivery information.
One moment though, Deborah, before we get to the draw, your staff has something they'd like to say to you.
the winner of the case of wine of Chateau Marie is Martell.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we hope that you'll all be back next year.